Mack Miller from Assembly District 5. Today, as a guest, we have a special guest, Paul Laramie, the president of the Republican Chamber of Commerce. Paul, how are you?
All right, how are you?
Fantastic, fantastic. Welcome.
Well, how are you today, Mac? How is this going on now about this coronavirus? Let's talk about the coronavirus before we bring Paul about the Chamber of
Of
Commerce.
course, of course. Well, we know that it started out very serious, and it's still a very serious concern of ours across the nation, as well as right here in Las Vegas. But we've had some new developments over the last couple of days, specifically from the Centers for Disease Control. Well, they've reported that the numbers aren't as high as they were once reported. So the numbers have dropped significantly for a couple of reasons. One, massive testing resulted in massive positive tests, but they weren't tracking who'd been tested more than once. And apparently, once you get the coronavirus and you get tested, if it's a couple of months later and you get tested again, you still show up positive. And we know that 99.6% of the people that get this virus actually recover. So we've got a nation of more than 300 million people. Here in Nevada, we've got roughly 3 million people in the state, and less than 1%, far less than 1%, has even contracted this disease or died from it. And so those numbers are coming back, and we're actually seeing some light at the end of the tunnel. But that's not to say why our governor decided to use our emergency alert system yesterday to tell people to get tested. So I thought that was kind of odd. My phone went off, and everybody's phone went
Yeah,
off,
alert.
and we had an
Have that.
alert saying go. Normally when
This
I
is
was
safe.
born and raised here in Vegas,
Yeah.
and I remember the only time we would get these alerts is when they were going to do a test of the atomic bombs, let's say in the Nevada test site in northern Nevada, or when there was going to be a flash flood of imminent, immediate danger. Never in the history of my life have I ever seen an emergency alert system go off telling people to go take a
Recording.
test.
Well, let me tell you something. Let me interrupt you, Mac. Mac, my cousin just died from COVID. He
Oh,
was healthy. I think you met him in our office.
oh
On the
no.
other office, Dr. John Dobley. He's a doctor.
Oh, wonderful.
He is a registered nurse here too, and he is very, very healthy. And the reason probably deteriorate is because he has diabetic. He's
He was
diabetic.
a diabetic,
Yeah, but then again, he's so healthy.
right?
He died of COVID. That was like now it's 2 to 3 weeks, 2 weeks ago now because we finished the 9 days. In the Filipino tradition, we have a 9 days to pray.
Okay.
For him to the soul goes to
For the
heaven.
spirit to go to heaven,
Yeah,
exactly.
and actually I'm prone with all those people because I'm always with him and all the people who get COVID. And I think I want to share this with you guys. COVID is real. Corey's there with me when I was so sick, right, Corey? And I did test myself. It came back positive. What do you call that? Antibodies.
Hmm.
But the doctor said I don't have any
Symptoms.
symptoms. It will be surprised if it will come back positive. So I went to test again on coronavirus.
Hmm.
I was so joyful hearing that I'm negative. But then again, I'm positive of the antibodies.
Antibodies, correct.
I did it because what happened is, guys, here's what I drink every day: vitamin D3, immune boost, honey with CBD, vitamin C, and I have another one that I'm taking oil fish. That's five things that I drink, and also I drink for 10 days distilled water because Dr. Tom Brown, the one of the scientists that I have a product with, I had to take this. So that's why I think I did it. But I had the symptoms for those 2 to 3 weeks, right, Corey? I was not able to taste the food.
Mm.
This is true. Guys, this is true. You're not going to be able to taste the food. The taste of the food that I eat are all bitter, really bitter. And then I'm weak. I can't walk like if I walk, man, just like a short distance and I'm tired, I just sit. And then it makes you tired. Well, you go to the bathroom. The good thing about me, I don't have any fever. I only went to the bathroom maybe 3 times. But guys, COVID is real. It's dangerous, and it's really people are going to die if you don't have a good, strong immune system. So start drinking and eating vegetable. Vegetable will give you more oxygen in your body. Stop eating meat for now, if possible. So eat vegetable. Drink all the vitamin C as you can, and drink only hot or warm water, and drink a lot of soup, like chicken soup. It's real Mac.
Right. Well,
That's the reason why I don't have a network for 3 weeks.
it's real, and I've never said that it wasn't real. It's just as real as HIV. It's just as real as SARS and swine flu and everything else. We need to realize that when you have a compromised immune system, and let me put a disclaimer out there: I am a doctor by no means, but we do know that when you have a compromised immune system, a lot of people go to the hospital for pneumonia, or maybe they'll go to the hospital for some
Correct.
underlying reason, and then unfortunately pass away from getting pneumonia in the hospital, right?
Correct.
Why? Because you went to the hospital with a compromised immune system, and then anything that enters your body when your immune system is already compromised works like a super virus anyway. So if you look at the numbers, and I implore you to Google this, look it up, or duck, duck, go it. I don't like Google so much. I like privacy. But look it up, and you'll find that a majority, if not 90% of the people that did pass away from COVID-19, as you said, Arielle, had already a compromised immune system, and they were
Correct.
suffering from a pre-existing condition of some sort.
Yeah.
So while I'm not saying that it's not real, it is very real. But if you are compromised, then yes, protect yourself, wear the mask, stay home, try your best to stay away from people if you're feeling any symptoms, and if you're compromised and not feeling any symptoms like COPD. I have a mother with COPD, and she's had a quadruple heart bypass, and she's in that category of a 65-year-old, 64. Oh, my mom's not. Sorry, Mom. I just told your age. Uh, she's in that category of people, elderly, and that's another one she's going to slap me for later, with compromised immune system that is the target that of the demographic who have actually mostly died from this virus. So as you said, your relative had diabetes, and that is also that's a pre-existing
Right.
condition, and that's a
What
compromised
happened
immune
is, I
system.
believe, I don't know what hospital, but I think the rumors is, I'm not gonna mention. I think I can say. I
Well,
think
my mom's
some of
not
them,
going to sue me, so but you might not want to mention.
Well, actually, he was so healthy. You met him, right? Everybody met him.
Right.
Imagine, it's real deal, because that's the reason why I don't have a network for 3 weeks. I want to make sure that I cannot contaminate other people.
Right.
So I isolate myself, and Corey actually also worry about me. Said, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" So many people bring me the immune boost, and it's really worked with zinc, with CBD.
That's it. I have
With
zinc.
with CBD, I have it. So they call it oxygen. So
I
I'm
take the
drinking it
zinc.
until today.
I
So if you
take
guys
zinc.
want some, they give me some, and I sign up. I bought some, and it really helps me.
I take the zinc, so zinc does
I have
work.
zinc. It's mixed to the oxygen.
Right.
It's mixed. In fact, I have it here. And then I drink CBD. How do you call that? Honey. So that's a beauty body. It helps me with vitamin D3. I bought 2 big jar like that, and the fish oil that big, and I eat vegetable because I like seafood and vegetable.
Right.
That's all I eat. I
If you don't
eat
like to cook,
seafood.
get this stuff. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
I will tell you this. I will say this. I would say, and I guess closing out or winding down the topic of COVID-19, if you're healthy, protect yourself. If you're not healthy and you might have a compromised immune system, wear a mask, keep your distance. But what I don't like is we don't, if we never lock up people that are healthy, okay? If you're not healthy, then you are an adult, then you should know to take care of yourself, to restrict your movement in places with a lot of people, and don't let people, maybe if you're sick, don't let other people get it. Don't go around them. Wear the mask. My saying is, if your mask works, then you shouldn't really have a problem with me not wearing a mask. But it's just a simple thing. My grandmother taught me, wash your hands. Don't touch your face. Don't touch, you come down the escalator. Oh, don't be touching that. Or if you did, wash your hands immediately. Make sure you wash your hands after you go to the restroom. Wash your hands with soap and water. These are things that it didn't take an MD or anyone with a degree to know that you should be doing. It shouldn't have taken the CDC to tell a nation to just don't be nasty. As simple as that.
Correct, correct.
All
Well,
right.
let's talk about
So,
the letter. Introduce your
sure.
guest today. What is the, a president of Republican Chamber of Commerce? What is that all about?
So I learned about the Republican Chamber of Commerce, and Paul Laramie is the president of the local Republican Chamber of Commerce. It's the RepublicanChamberofCommerce.com. And many people know, like, the Republican, Clark County Republican Party, the Republican National Committee. The Republican Chamber of Commerce isn't affiliated with them per se. However, one of the things that I like about the Republican Chamber of Commerce is it does something more out there than all the other groups do. It's specifically, and even it's actually on their brochure, actually, and I think on their website, helping businesses that support the community. And one of the things that I was surprised about, I had this brochure, and I was, for like 2 weeks straight, I walked around, and I would hand the brochure to people because I was so impressed, and I said, the second sentence in their history, if you weren't surprised by reading the second sentence in the history of the Republican Party, I would give you $5. And so people would take the brochure and they'd look at it and they'd say, well, let me see, what does the second sentence say? Well, the second sentence says, the Republican Party emerged in 1854 to fight against slavery into American territory. Where do you ever hear that on mainstream media? Never. But not only that, but no one knows this, but the first black congressmen in this country were all Republicans. So this is stuff that people don't even talk about. But even better, the Republican Chamber of Commerce, Paul, and I'll let Paul get into it, supports businesses that help the community, and you don't even have to be Republican to join. But there is a hit.
Correct. I almost to ask that. Let me ask that to you, since it's only Republican indication in here, and you should put a little bit one fine print here that this is for everybody, not just Republican.
Yeah, we
I
have
don't
it
see
here.
any fine print. I was
In here,
looking
like,
for it.
it has for registered Republicans and non-registered Republicans.
It should
Whoa,
not be-
there's a
it should
hit.
not be that way. It should be for everybody.
For everybody.
For everybody, you should put
that's
one
true.
fine print. It's for
Well,
everybody.
It's for registered
And
Republicans
everyone
and
are
non-registered.
Right, everybody's welcome.
But-
Everybody, how about everybody are welcome? Not
The Republican-
non-registered Republican.
maybe
No,
the
that's-
RCC
this
can
is not a
contact.
good word for me.
Well,
This is not a good word. For me, come on.
Every,
okay?
so
Yeah.
everyone.
well, it's just based on how you're registered. Now, non-registered Republicans do pay a higher fee, or what we came up with to help people
Oh,
out.
wait a that's
What?
not
I-
good. That means you have to be a Republican.
No,
you
we
just
assist-
say that. You just say that.
You don't
Right?
have
You
to.
just say it. Right?
Well,
And
you know
what we
what?
offer in the office is we can actually change your voter registration to Republican on site. Therefore, you'll be able to save and get the.
No.
Well,
the
you
lower
can't
membership.
change it.
No.
They can change it.
Yeah.
I get it. Oh, you know what? I get it. This makes sense. It's the, okay. So no, it is fair actually. So I'm just going to look at the business level membership. It says for registered Republicans, the business level membership. Now this is annual. It says annual. So $99 for a year is not bad. And then it says if you're not a Republican, basically if you're anything else, or I guess not even registered, then that same level membership is $295. I know what this is doing.
It should be not like this. He should not emphasize Republican. If you everyone are welcome on, or it should just say none of this at all.
And just
It's
have.
yeah.
So I
that-
I get it, but I bet.
Well,
Let me
a
guess.
non-registered Republican is just the opposite of a registered Republican. So it could be
Yeah,
a Democrat, independent.
But the
I get it.
wordings for me are different.
I
That's
get
all.
it. I get.
That's-
But
yeah.
I'm guessing though, if I walked in there and let's say I
Yeah.
wasn't registered to vote,
Yeah.
and I said I want to join the Republican Chamber of Commerce, he says, okay, well, are you Republican? No, I'm not registered to vote. That means you're not. So your membership. Well, I'm interested in this business level. It's $295. Wait a minute. How do I get my membership down to this $99?
Yeah, the
Here's a
red-
registration form, basically. Like, okay, and then I register as a Republican. I get the $99. So what if I come in and I'm a Democrat,
How about Democrat?
and
Yeah.
I say I want this business level, and I pay you $99, and I join, and then what happens? I mean, how do you know if I'm telling you the truth or not? I mean,
Well, we do verify all your voter registration.
okay,
Ah.
okay,
But we do offer the option for them to switch as well. If you wanted to become a registered Republican, we'll go ahead and honor the $99.
bam, that's fair. I mean, I think it's really fair. Look, it's got to be more fair than if you go to BlackLivesMatter.com. If you go to BLM.com, I think it goes directly to Joe Biden's website.
Antifa as well.
Antifa, yes, that's what it is.
What?
If you type in Antifa.com, Antifa.com, and click enter, it doesn't go to an Antifa website. It goes straight to Joe Biden's campaign website. Now, that's straight bait and switch. At least here it tells you, hey, you can join, but if you're not a Republican, you'll pay more. And if you want that Republican rate, all you have to do is register as a Republican. But now you got these kids out there clicking on Antifa or BLM or whatever incorporated, and it goes straight to Joe. So is Joe Biden running Antifa, or did Joe Biden pay Antifa to redirect? Come on, that's a bait and switch there.
I think so because you know what? That's the one that's going on now. In fact, all the Antifa and the BLM is the one who's destroying America. They're rioting, looting, and they don't even.
You didn't hear it from my mouth. Yeah. It came from Arielle. Antifa and BLM Incorporated, by the way, are destroying
America. They're the one who hurt the American
listen,
people.
I put a sign on my office door the other day that said, because of COVID-19, we're asking that all rioters work from home and destroy their own shit. Hey, we're not.
I think I like that. I like that. Hey, you know what? I mean, you are destroying our country. You're not happy to be out here inside the America, whatever nationality you are, go back to where you are. Because you know what? And also, let's talk about this. NBA players. I could care less if you retire, LeBron. I could care less if we quit right now. Who cares about you? I don't care. Quit.
It's entertainment. When I grew up, when I grow up, I want to be an assemblyman in Assembly District 5. Here's the thing. I have two daughters. I have one that's 10, one that's much younger. But I always said, and I found it amazing, how in this country, while we love our sports, we love our basketball, we love our football, we love.
I used to be basketball when I was in high school.
Right? So many kids in high school, they can name everybody that's on the Lakers and everybody that's on this team, but they couldn't name one congressman. They can't name one city councilman. They can't name one county commissioner. And by the way, the last time I checked, I'm not going to call out LeBron James, but Magic Johnson be anybody. It could be anybody. The last time I checked, not one basketball player or football player had anything to do with how much money I'm going to keep in my pocket after taxes, or how I'm going to be able to drive, or whether the street lights are going to come on at night, or whether there's potholes in the street, or whether our kids are going to get an education, or we get funding for education. That doesn't matter. So I vowed that before any of my kids knew all the names of any players on a team, they'd know their council members. They'd know their city council members, their county commissioner members, their congressmen, their governor, whether you like them or not. I don't.
Well, do you agree? I agree with you. Do you guys agree that they had to remove that in God we trust?
No.
It's stupid, isn't it? And also,
that's how this country was founded.
I know. And then now LeBron said he's gonna quit. Good. Retire, please.
Yeah. If you want to stop making millions of dollars because somebody wants to say "In God We Trust," remember.
No, not even that. He wants not to do the national anthem anymore.
Hey, the national anthem is what got you your millions.
This is America.
This is America.
But that's what he wants. Not just him. Everybody wants to, go like this. But you guys are destroying the America. Why are you supporting the BLM? Destroying the America, the rioting, the looting. Why?
I tell you what.
If
If you're a guest, if you're going to a show and you're going to watch a show, well, that's what it is. Basketball is a show. It's entertainment. If you're going to watch a show and you want to be a guest and you don't want to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, you know what? While I'm not supporting you with that, do it. Don't stand. But if you're paid and you got a contract to do a job, you know what? Here's what I say do for all the team owners. Put it in the contract. Put it in the contract that they've got to stand and they can't kneel. They have clauses in contracts that are morals clauses. Like Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods lost I think he lost the Nike contract after he had his divorce or whatever, the whole incident where he ran his SUV into a tree and his wife was chasing him. He lost a major $50 million deal because of a morals clause. Well, add another clause to those contracts that say, you know what, you work for me, you're on this team to play a game, that's what I want you to do. Keep your politics outside, don't put it on the national arena, stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, say the Pledge of Allegiance. If you don't want to stand when you're outside of this stadium and not on my payroll, then don't. But while you're on my payroll and I'm paying you millions of dollars to throw a ball in a little net, you're going to do what I say. Because it's not a violation. It's not a violation of your civil rights to tell you to do that. It's not a violation of the Americans with Disabilities Act. It's not a violation of race, sex, age, anything. All we're asking is that you just say the Pledge of Allegiance in this country, stand and respect the flag. And for all those people who come to America, I don't see anybody beating down the door to get into other countries. The reason the time takes so long to become an American citizen is because that many, it's
Yeah.
supply and demand.
Yeah, and this is also the sad part. Black people wants the white people to be kicked out of their house because they said it's their land.
Well,
So
it's not
no.
actually black people. See, BLM doesn't support the African American family. They want to take the father out of the family and destroy the nuclear. It's on their website. They want to destroy the nuclear family. They're supporting same-sex marriages.
In Oregon and Washington, they want the white people to move in their house so that they can move in.
But BLM does not represent black people at all.
I say, I
BLM.
support, you know what, I support, this is going to end up on CNN or Fox somewhere. I support reparations. But here's how I support them. I think that if you ever had anything to do personally with slavery, right? If you know anybody, if you were ever a slave, you should get reparations in this country. If you were ever a slave, you should get reparations.
Correct.
And if you were ever someone that owned slaves, you should be the one doing the paying. Nobody else needs to be involved. I don't think anybody alive today has been a slave in this country, nor owned any slaves.
Well, it should not be, you know what? This is just individual people hate each other, okay? You got to remember, every color marries each other.
Yep.
Black, white, white, black,
Yeah.
Asian, white, Asian, black, Mexican,
We're a
black.
melting pot.
You know, I mean, why now? Just because its election is coming? So this is need to be done so that they can be, I mean, powerful because they're blaming Trump to what happened in our country because there's a COVID. Trump does a lot of things. What Obama did for 8 years sitting in the office.
He gave us free phones.
No, listen to this.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
He gave Iran
He gave us free
billions of
phones.
dollars.
I mean, guys, he gave us free
How
phones.
much billions of dollars he gave Iran?
Yeah.
Flew
We
it
are
over
not
there.
gonna find out
Don't
Cash.
forget, he gave us free phones. He didn't give us any jobs to call in sick with him, but he gave us free phones.
Free phones. You're crazy. Okay, listen. Now, Michelle Obama is saying that, hello, he's feeling anxiety because what happened in our country. What about when you guys are sitting there? Why are you teaching the kids to eat vegetable? Kids were never going to eat vegetable.
I
Why
mean-
change the menu? The kids are just throwing the food away if they send the vegetable.
I don't think it was that she changed the menu and added vegetables and that's why they threw it away. It's that she changed the menu and added horrible tasting food also.
Yeah, the quality of the food was horrible.
The quality of an MRE was better than the quality of the food that she had. And for those that don't know what an MRE is, it's a meal ready to eat. It's what the military gets when they're out on missions, and it comes in a package, and everything's just already pre-made. But
Well, she's a millionaire now. She is partnered
Exactly.
with Netflix. So what is she an anxiety
listen,
for?
I don't know why
Come
she
on.
has anxiety. She can do like Nancy Pelosi. She can order a black-owned business to shut down so that they can do her hair. Because that's exactly what Nancy Pelosi just did a couple
Yeah.
days ago, if not yesterday, and she got up in arms
You know
about
what she said? She said she's a setup. How set her up?
How do you?
How is it?
It wasn't a setup. It was that you had your team call a black-owned business, tell them to shut down so that you can come in and get your hair done.
Who the hell is she?
She didn't think
She's
she would get
totally-
caught.
You know, I mean, the surveillance cameras caught her, and now she's upset about it. I mean, first off, that's not something you should be doing anyway. And if you are doing something like that, you should expect somebody's going to record. You're the Speaker of the House. I mean, it's not like it's not like you can ever sneak around and people not know what you're doing. You should know that once you reach a certain level of public profile, just forget about having privacy unless you go in your house and close the door, and that's about it. But when you choose to come out as a public figure, particularly at that level, you should just know that everything you do is always assume there's a camera on you because there is.
Right.
You can't get upset about it. Quit. Nancy, you don't want people following you around anymore? Resign. I'm all for it. Resign, and you should be retiring and enjoying your grandkids if you have any. I don't know.
Yeah.
But,
Well, I think so. But I know we want to cover everything. And how about you? What do you think about the Republican Party?
how do people join the chamber?
Yeah. How these
What-
people join?
know-
How these people the Republican Party?
I love the Republican Party because the Republican Party, they don't care if you're black, white, brown, Asian, Indian. They care about people that want to make money. You know
You
what I
just
mean?
named
People
all my
that
ex-wives.
are people that are business orientated. You know, pretty much we're a network of business professionals and individuals, and we want to support businesses and make sure that they succeed. We also want to support down ballot candidates because they don't get any money.
I'm a down ballot. I can attest to that. That we don't, everybody focuses
Nothing.
on the president and everybody focuses on Congress, right? But here's what people forget. What decisions that really came down, there was a saying, and the saying is politics is local. Here's the thing. What the president does will trickle down to affecting us in some time. But right now, in Nevada, we had 2 special sessions over the last 3 months.
Okay.
And in those special sessions, the Democrat majority made it so that taxes were increased. I mean, they made it so that they made it so that police lost a number of protections. And one of the protections I think that they lost was that they're not giving police the same rights that every one of us have when we're accused of something. When we're accused of something, we get due process, and our attorney, my defense attorney, gets a right to see the evidence. They just passed a law in a special session because they're pandering to BLM Incorporated, saying that if a police officer gets accused of something, his attorneys can't even look at the evidence. What? What? Huh?
When did they pass it? What
That was
time?
that was
the one in the
2
middle of
o'clock
the night,
in the morning
right?
or
Yeah.
something like that. So,
In the middle of the night, they Sisolak called a special session so that people couldn't vote and couldn't get their voices heard.
and then they wouldn't let them be heard. But I was up watching these special sessions like a vengeance, and every time they would never. Normally, there's an agenda, and it says when they're going to call public comment. They wouldn't do that. They would just call it whenever they wanted, right? And so I was monitoring both of the special sessions so closely, and right when they'd say, we're open to public comment, I'd send out thousands of messages to my district and to the people in Nevada, and I'd say, you don't want this to happen, call them now. It clogged up the line so bad. I mean, but that's if the only way that the people could get their voices heard was to call them at that moment. But they would wait until 2 in the morning, and they'd say, okay, we're going to open this up for public comment. 2:30 in the morning? Who's up? I mean, only someone like me that's to represent you is going to sit up until 2 o'clock in the morning waiting. I was in my office, and I would switch it over to my phone, and then I'd get in the car, and I'd go home, and I'd be in the bed. My wife's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm in the session right now. And at 2 in the morning, and they'd say, oh, we're opening up to public comment. And then I'd shoot out messages. I did get some little blowback. A lot of people were saying, don't send messages, don't email me, and all this stuff at 2 in the morning. But I felt that for the 50 people that may have said don't do that, I thought that the other 5,000 or 6,000 people would appreciate that there's somebody in their district that's actually going to work for them for the full 2 years and not just 3 or 4 months out of their term, because that's what my opponent does.
What is your dream in life to your district? Not just your district, maybe the whole thing combined, all the assemblyman. Because according to what you're saying here, you're gonna protect the Constitution,
Yes.
the Second Amendment.
Not just the second, but I
Education,
focused on that, and
okay,
education.
the education, the jobs, taxes, heroes, safety. Job is the most important, and the education. Everybody complaining about our position in the level of education.
Right. It's all intertwined. It's a web because, first off, I was born and raised in Vegas, okay? And I'm a product of the public school district here. I remember I lived literally 2 blocks away from where the Martin Luther King statue is now. We called it the West Side. It's
Okay.
not West, actually, but they call it the West Side. And I remember when community organizers were complaining that the schools, I went to Kermit Booker, they were complaining that the schools on the west side and the black side of town weren't as good as the schools on the white side of town. So they petitioned and they fought and they marched and they argued, and they got all of us. Well, I remember getting bused. I had to get up extra early because I would have to take a school bus from Martin Luther King and Helen, which is just shy of Cheyenne for those of you that know the area. And I would have to take a bus picking up other kids and go to a school all the way on Tropicana and the 95. It took me an hour or so to get to school because they wanted to bus us to what they thought was a better school because it was a white neighborhood. Here's the funny thing that they either didn't know or didn't tell anybody. All the kids that would have gone to Tomiyasu out there, it was the Japanese.
Tomiyasu, it's back
Yes,
here,
I
yeah.
went to Tomiyasu.
Yeah.
All the kids that would have gone there because they lived near there, they just bused them to our school on the west side. So it wasn't any different.
Like,
And here's
what year is that?
and this was we're talking in the early 90s, the late 80s and early 90s. I graduated from high school in 94. And here's the thing. So then the testing scores at the schools on the west side went up, and the testing scores at the schools on the white side went down. It had nothing to do with the school. The schools got the same amount of money. What it had to do with is educating not just children, but children's parents.
Correct.
See, you also, when you have families where both parents have to work, idle hands are a devil's workshop. When you know that there's somebody at home and you get out of school at 1:30 and you know that if you don't get home by 2 or 2:15, somebody's wondering where you are. But when both parents are forced to work and they're gone until 6 at night or 7, now you've got what? From 1:30 to 6. And I'm guilty of it. I remember my mom would always say, make sure the dishes are washed. You know when my mom's dishes or our dishes would get washed? At about 6:15, because I knew mom was going to be coming in. Matter of fact, the dishwasher would still be running when she walked in the door. Because what did I do? I was out playing, riding my beach cruiser.
You think so? It's about the family.
It's the family.
It's the mother and the father or the kids
A
itself.
combination.
Combination.
I sat on the board of a special needs foundation school before, where we actually, and this was actually in Los Angeles.
So
believe
it's
it or
not
not.
a rating in our, state because we are what, number 50 or 49?
We are a transient state, so we have a history of people moving to. Here's what happens: people come from somewhere else, right? And
I
they go.
have a lot of clients from California
Right.
here renting and buying.
Right.
From California.
People come from California. I've had family to do this. They visit first.
Yeah.
Then they ask you, well, how much you paying for this apartment? Or how much you paying for this house? How much is your rent, right? And
Correct.
people are in a nice gated apartment in Vegas, and they're paying like
$1,200
$1,100 for a 2-bedroom, little
Yeah,
fireplace,
3 bedrooms,
gated
yeah.
community,
Yeah.
brand new apartment complexes.
Yeah.
And the Californians come in and they say,
3,000.
really? I would be paying $3,000 for this, and it
Yeah.
wouldn't even be a good neighborhood. So then they move here.
Yeah.
And that's what happens across the country. But then this state has a history of being purple and then going back to blazing red. For those of the viewers that don't know what that means, it's like it's really a red state, a conservatively Republican state. But every so many years, it turns purple because we got a lot of people from California that come in, and then it goes back.
They're Democrats.
And they're usually
become
Democrat. So,
Correct,
but
correct.
but we need to education system to get on the point. Education in Nevada. What we need to do is stop thinking that we need to just throw money at the teachers. I support giving teachers more money, but just like in a private enterprise, you don't get a raise or a bonus if you don't succeed. If
Correct.
you don't get a bonus or a raise if you didn't produce. So I
Correct.
require educators to produce before they get those raises. I'll go as far as to pay for further education for them.
I have also a suggestion. Every running candidate should be having a degree that they know what they're doing.
No, that would be unconstitutional, actually.
Well, at least they should have at least so that they have knowledge. They can just sit.
But
in
what
the-
about hard
There's a lot
knocks
of
knowledge?
people. Hold on a second. Well, maybe, right?
For the education
wait,
sector.
Education, they should have an education.
Okay, if you're going to sit on the trust school board, yes. But you can't require everybody, because now if you want to talk about keeping people out of politics, and you want that would be
But
like
at least
saying
learn
every
something.
president should have a law
What
degree.
I'm saying, Mac, they should at least learn something. Look at your.
But you don't have to have a degree to learn something.
Well,
That's why I agree in
understand.
trade
Yeah,
schools.
Okay.
I support the
know,
trades.
I agree with you with
Okay.
that. But at least they should have a knowledge how to run, being an assemblyman. Like what is the job exactly
I'm
of
going to tell you.
assemblyman?
All right,
Tell me.
I'll tell you. First off, the only job of an assemblyman in this state and most
Okay.
states, or assemblywoman, sorry,
Okay.
ladies, my opponent is a woman. I appreciate her, not as an assembly person, but as a teacher. She's a great teacher, horrible
Okay.
assembly person. However, listen, those who can do, those who can't teach. Let's make sure my opponent goes back to doing what she can do well, teaching. Now, so what I believe.
Tell me that.
Okay, I'm being honest here. Here's the thing: an assembly person makes laws. They go to Carson City. They get a bill that says this should be a law. They say, okay, I agree, and everybody votes on it. It becomes the bill gets passed. The governor signs it into law. That's all an assembly person does. But the problem with that is that we only have a session every 2 years in Nevada.
No kidding.
So when we all get elected on November 3rd or 4th this year, the Nevada Assembly will go into session in late January, early February for a couple of months. They won't go into session again until the next term. Except this year, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, we had two special sessions. Now, the problem with that is this. Like my opponent, or unlike my opponent, every day I'm in the streets. Every day I'm at city council meetings. I'm at county commission meetings. I'm at school board meetings. I'm on the parent-teacher association. I'm on the school organization team. And I go to all of those meetings because people in Assembly District 5 call me and they say, can you get to this meeting? They're about to do this. I work for a living. I can't go. Matt, can you go? And I run my own business. I have the time to represent you, and I go to those meetings. I have never seen our current representative fighting for any of this. I sit on the side of the Sahara and Fort Apache protesting with the people in my district. I go out and give food to people in my district. Yesterday, I walked through a desert in the middle of our district behind Desert Breeze and found a valley full of homeless people. Okay? I get out there.
Well, go to Las Vegas,
Yes.
Boulevard.
Now that is
Desert,
what an
under.
assembly rep or
Yeah, we
any
should.
representative
Yeah.
should be doing. Okay? They should be doing that. You elect us to represent you. How would you like it if you hired your lawyer, right? And all he did was he went to court when he was supposed to, but he never prepared for it.
Correct.
See, you can go to court and have a hearing
Well,
and take you 15 minutes, but
let
you
me-
got to prepare for 3 hours for that hearing.
Let me ask you something, one more thing. Why Catherine Duncan is the only person who's cleaning the street? Why not all of you get together and get those, you guys ass, and clean those areas?
Listen,
I'm
I've been
serious. She's
I've been out
I
cleaning
asked her,
streets.
I said, Katie, I said, why you're the only one who's cleaning the street? What about the others?
You know why? I'll tell you why. Because number one, Catherine Duncan is in Assembly District 6. Assembly District 6 is where I used to live, where I said it's a couple
Yeah.
blocks away from the
But
Martin
she's
Luther
the
King
only one
statue.
who's cleaning the
So
street.
she's the only one out there because, with all due respect, the other reps say it's not my district. It's her
doesn't
district,
matter,
right?
right? It
Now,
doesn't matter.
I think, if we're going to help people, we need to help them. Don't get me wrong.
Correct.
I spent more time in Assembly District 6 than in my district. The two districts I spent the most time in helping out in one way or another is my district, which is 5, and Assembly District 6. They asked me, why are you over there, why are you speaking at 100 Excellence School? That's a charter school behind Kermit Booker Elementary. I went to Kermit Booker, by the way. And I said, because they asked me and because they need me. They said, well, why are you over there doing this? Because they need me. Well, I don't need to clean the streets in Assembly District 6.
Correct.
I mean, we don't have that problem. They say, why every Christmas we get together $500,000 of toys, shoes, socks, backpacks. We go to Tonopah. We go, or not
Because
Tonopah, we go to
his
Laughlin.
district is a bad
We go to
area.
Laughlin.
Yeah.
We go out to, is it not Spring Valley, but we go to some North Las Vegas school. They asked me, Matt, are you going to run for Congress? Why are you even over there doing that? I said, because they need it. They said, why aren't you in your district doing it? No one in Summerlin, well, I'm not going to say no one, but I'm pretty sure a majority of the kids in Summerlin don't need socks and food and backpacks. So I'm going to go where people need me. And keep in mind, I'm not just voting on
We
things
should
in
not
Carson
be
City.
separated.
Thank
It should
you.
be equality because this is one state.
Exactly.
It just happened we divided the job on each assemblyman or senator or Congress just because, it's big. But this is so small a state that we should combine our forces to help each other. Like Catherine Duncan has been posting herself by herself. What happened to all the running candidates? What happened to the community? Why only her?
Right.
Well,
Well,
I've
I'm going to
actually
call
seen him.
Catherine. I'll call Katie, and I'll ask her, and I'll say, hey, Katie, you need some help. I've helped Katie, by the way. I've done a lot of things for Katie. I like Catherine Duncan. The Duncan family, by the way, is a historically known family name for the West Side. I remember her family members being those organizers back when I was in my
Now, I know
teens.
you've been helping the community,
So,
Mac. You're all over also. You help because you own the law firm. And
Well, not the
you're
law
helping
firm, but I own the consulting firm, and then we
Consulting firm,
have
yes.
contracted attorneys. Listen, Miller's Consult, we have great attorneys that represent people, that represent the community. I've got, for immigration, for example, one of the guys that I work with that I use in our office, he's the assistant chief. He's the former assistant chief of ICE out of New York.
No kidding.
I've got a guy in our office, he was a former deputy attorney general of Nevada. And here's another, I'm a Republican, big Republican, but I got a lot of Democrat support. got a lot of liberals support because they know. I say, look, I'm mad as hell at the Democrats and the Republicans because they're fighting amongst themselves and fighting for themselves when they should be fighting for us. Send me to Carson City so I can tell those kids to knock it off. I mean, and I haven't even plugged myself. MackMiller4Nevada.com, and if you can't get that fast, WrightMiller.com, because I'm the Wright Miller, and if you don't vote right, you're going to get left. We need to vote red,
Wait a
R-E-D.
minute. Isn't your opponent a Miller also?
My opponent is.
That's why it's Wright Miller.
WrightMiller.com. Vote right so you don't get left. R-E-D. Remove every Democrat. I'm just joking about that. There are good Democrats out there. And by the way, the Democrat that ran against my opponent a couple years ago, I'm very supportive of her. So I'll tell you that right now. There are Democrats out there that I really get behind and I support because they're doing the right thing. They're not just following the lead of their leader, right? And by the way, there are Republicans out there that I don't like. Some Republicans. Do you know I did not get endorsed by the Nevada Republican Assembly Caucus?
No way.
I did not. I didn't get endorsed by them, which is actually a good thing.
Black people doesn't like each other.
It's a good thing. I'll tell you why I didn't get endorsed by them. Because they know I won't kowtow to their bullshit and that I'm going to represent the people for what they need. I'm not just going to follow lock and step with the Republican Party. There's a lot of the things the Republican believe in that I am behind. But if you make a mistake and you do something wrong, I'm not going to step back and just ignore it and not say anything and let you keep doing it. I'm going to say something. And they know that. I told them, luckily we're not on terrestrial radio or TV because I'm using some language. I literally sent an email to the Republican Assembly Caucus and told them to go fuck themselves because I didn't believe they were doing what they needed to do to unite us all. We all need to be united. I support the Republican cause, but I do not support cowards that will not work for the people. When you elect me to represent you in Carson City, all I say to you is this. I promise to vote the way you want me to vote. I'm not going to go up there and vote. I got my own opinions. But I'm going to be representing 64,500 people roughly. And I know all of us aren't going to think alike. But you need to reach out to me, and you need to tell me what your position is and what you support and what you don't. And the way I vote will mirror that. I'm going to make that promise. Politicians don't make many promises, but I have nothing to lose here. Okay? It's not like it's going to make me a millionaire being an assemblyman. I do okay. So, okay?
Well, that's good though because you have the knowledge. I mean, you are there to support and put this together. Not just a lot of people are make promises. So many people uses the veterans, the homeless, the immigration, the healthcare. Everybody just talk and big talk and talk about what they will.
And you can't do it all by yourself. You can't do it by yourself.
It has to be the whole process.
It has to be. I walked out in the desert yesterday morning, and I posted a video. You can see it on my Facebook pages. And I said, I'm here in this desert. Now, I went out to that desert to find out what the problem was because I got a lot of complaints in my office saying there's these people by the elementary school, there's people by the DMV, and there's homeless out there, and there possibly is some illegal activity. When I went out there and I saw what was going on, and I saw this desert, and I saw the homeless encampment, I didn't say, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Because, folks, I can't do a lot by myself. We need to come together. I need your assistance. We can do it together. Use my name as the rep for 5. Trust me. As your assemblyman, I will put the full weight of my title behind everything that we need to get done. Like the mayor said, she only had her voice. She only had her voice, and she did what she could with her voice. So remember, Mack Miller for Nevada or WrightMiller.com. So, and Paul, what's your website?
Go ahead.
RepublicanChamberOfCommerce.com. That's the RepublicanChamberOfCommerce.com. If you want to give me a call, you can give us a call at 702-214-2194.
And everybody welcome, right?
Yeah,
Everybody's welcome.
We're a community organization.
You might pay a little more. You might pay a little
community.
premium. You might pay a little
And
premium.
that's actually one of the ways I know this guy. I see him at community events, feeding the homeless at Jacoby's. We've done stuff downtown, and I always see him there. Every time I go, I see him there. And that's what it's about. It's really about the community.
Exactly.
All of us.
So when did you put this together?
I put it together about 2 years ago. It was dormant for a while because we were trying to get everything organized. Because, you know, to start a chamber and get everything right, it takes a while to get everything perfect.
Well, let's do the shout out. Go ahead, you go first.
Of course. Well, I'm going to shout out to RepublicanChamberOfCommerce.com. I'm sure if you don't know me by now, but WrightMiller.com. I'm running for Assembly in Assembly District 5. If you want to know what that area is It's in the Desert Breeze Community Center area. It's in between Flamingo and Alta and Rainbow and Summerlin. So if you live in that area or if you know anyone in that area, please just send them to wrightmiller.com and let them know that Matt's got your back. Vote right so you don't get left.
Go ahead.
Bro, I'm definitely voting for him. Yeah, I mean, just check out the RepublicanChamberOfCommerce.com. We're here to help businesses. If you have a business or want to start a business, we're here to make sure that you succeed.
And you don't have to be Republican.
You don't have to be
you
Republican
go.
to join.
Well, I just want to do the shout out to everyone. Next week, Mac and Arielle will have a show, so we can bring maybe 10 or 15 guests. It's going to be at 6040 South Durango, Suite 115. The Arielle Robbie Network will be on that location. Over here at 2797 South Maryland Parkway, it's a cooking show. So Marlon Greenwood, one of the Miami Dolphins NFL, have a cooking show here, and we have Rosemary TV in Spanish, and of course, Precious Cooking will have their cooking show here, and we will show you how to boil egg without no water, how to cook fried chicken without no oil, how to cook pancit in 7 minutes, and all those things you can cook also a cake on top of the oven, and you don't have to put any oil, nothing. But anyway, also shout out to all the people who helped me when I'm sick. Corey from the finance. If you're looking to take care of your finances, we have Corey, and also we have viewers. I just check on that. Angara Spice Grill. We're gonna go there and eat. Hi Dave, thank you so much for helping me also when I'm sick, and also Larry and Rhea of Wing who support me when I'm sick, and also Ruth Berger, and all to the people who are there with me when I got sick. And thank you so much for your support. And thank you to all the viewers who's been watching Arielle Live TV. I've been in the network for over 20 years now. Here in Nevada, I was here from KLAV, KRLB, and I was with WCUB and .TV, and now it's my network. And if you guys want to be your own host, you want to be part of our network, our viewers are between 40 to 50,000. That's my viewers. It's just recorded. And as I said, our location is 6040 South Durango. That's our studio. And Mac and Arielle will have a show, and you guys are more than welcome to question him being an assemblyman. Election is coming November 3. And once again, I want to thank you to our president of RepublicanChamberOfCommerce.com, and you are welcome to have a show and our network. And I want once again thank you, Corey, for helping us today. And Mac, congratulations. I know you will make it, and I know I'm going to vote for you. Mac Miller. Remember, Mac Miller. Thank you once again, Precious Cooking. If you want to cook in here, you're more than welcome to come here. And thank you to, oh yeah, wait. We have also Sabadiha. They're all registered nurse, by the way. You're welcome to be their guest.
Oh, wow.
Actually, they're all registered nurse. They have the show in my network, and also we have another. They're all brother and sister, and this is Hap Pinoy, Hap Bisaya, and this is also good. They also have their own cooking shows. And as I mentioned, Marlon Greenwood, NG54, I'm supporting him because you know why? He's helping the community, the parents that the kids cannot afford to pay. They're not charging, so you need to meet him.
Wonderful.
Once again, thank you so much, and bye for now.